Your health is like a dry sponge. Hi, I'm Dr. Trent Hipper with Restoration Chiropractic, and today, this episode, we'll talk about how a dry sponge is like your health. Now, anytime that I take a new case review or patients that I see in the office, I talk about this analogy. And this analogy is fairly simple, but makes a lot of sense when we tie it into how this relates to your health, but also how this ties into your brain and your nervous system and what we do here at Restoration Chiropractic every day. Now take this dry sponge, if you will, and imagine that there's a leaky faucet underneath it, one drip at a time, and that sponge can handle that one drip and soak it up, no problem. But the problem, long-term, chronically, is when this sponge is taking on water, that drop of water every day for weeks, months, and years, becomes oversaturated and no longer can take on any more water. And this is how this applies to your health. Imagine that this is your brain and your nervous system, and it has the ability to adapt because it's designed to adapt, but there's a certain point where it's overloaded, it's overstressed, it can no longer handle any more stress. And imagine that water being stress every day. The things that we do, we're talking about is, stress is a very neutral word. And so I'm going to put this into context that stress that I'm talking about, we're talking about distress. So there's good and there's bad, or healthy and unhealthy stress. And I'm talking about the distress, the things from poor posture, from poor sleeping habits to not exercising on a regular basis, poor nutritional habits, such as eating more inflammatory processed foods, not getting enough sleep, not getting enough clean water intake. You get the idea. So those drops over time oversaturate that sponge. And guess what? Over time, that leads to chronic illness and disease. And most, 80% conservatively, of the diseases today are lifestyle driven. So that's the good news and bad news, right? Bad news is 80% comes from our lifestyle. The good news is you actually have control. So what are some of the things and ways that we can actually wring out this sponge, making your nervous system, your health more adaptable? Because it's really about adaptation. There's a certain point when it no longer adapts, the body then is responding the best it can in the environment that you're giving it. So this is where our Life by Design blueprint comes into play, where we teach you strategies through Eat by Design, Move by Design, Think by Design, and also with what we do here in the office with our neurostructural restoration process, Power by Design. Now, for more healthful health tips, go ahead, like us, follow us, and go ahead and look into the link that's in the bio or below that can get you my free relief guide when everything that you've tried to help you get relief hasn't worked. Also, there's some other freebies, such as we have a private Facebook group for our community here in West Knoxville to make West Knoxville the healthiest community in Tennessee. Some really great resources there. And also, if you're interested and you're interested in what is this neurostructural restoration process, we also offer a complimentary case review always. It's a time for a conversation, not a commitment. Until next time, remember, when it comes to your health, you're worth it.